The Miami Heat are in talks with DeMar DeRozan. We have to break it down right now because based off the most recent report, it seems like we're going to get an answer in the next 24 hours. So let's get to it and break down all of the moving parts right now on this episode of Heat Digest. So, DeMar to Miami. Is it going to happen? It seems like there's a damn good chance it's going to happen. Now, the Miami Heat are not the only team out looking to land DeMar DeRozan, as it seems like there's going to be a handful of teams out trying to land the multiple-time All-Star. Now, NBA Central posted this a few hours ago saying the Miami Heat are showing interest in DeMar DeRozan per Flash Sports Buzz. If you don't know who that is Barry Jackson on Twitter, a Miami Heat journalist, a Miami Heat beat writer, if you will, for the Miami Herald, and he's damn good at what he does. And again, he has now great information on the Miami Heat surrounding the situation with DeMar DeRozan. And he goes on to say, and I quote, "The Heat have expressed interest in Bulls free agent guard DeMar DeRozan, and DeRozan also has interest in Miami. According to the two sources with knowledge on the situation, the Heat is among several teams in play for the six-time All-Star," end of quote. And they go on to tag the article that we'll break down in just a second. But again, who is DeMar DeRozan? DeMar DeRozan is the guy who is now getting to the age of 36, I believe, 35, and he has been playing the same brand of basketball ever since he was drafted back in 2009 by the Toronto Raptors. And again, 24 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.1 steals per game, while shooting 48% from the field and 33% from behind the three-point line. 6'6", again, 34 years old, and he shoots 39% on corner threes, and 85% of his threes are assisted on. So that is two great stats. Again, spot up threes in the corner. He's shooting just under that 40% mark. And again, like we've mentioned before, if you're anywhere near that 40% mark or higher, you are doing just fine from behind that three-point line. 85% of the threes he's shooting are assisted. Again, that is phenomenal in the sense that he's not settling for long jump shots off the dribble, taking long jump shots that aren't good shots early in the shot clock. He's moving the ball around, and he's catching and shooting off the pass. Again, another great stat. And then the biggest one out of all of them, 16.5% of all his shots are threes. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a DeMar DeRozan. This is a player who has lived and died he's playing the same brand of basketball that he has ever since he was drafted back in 2009 by the Toronto Raptors. Now, like I mentioned, 2009 he was drafted, is now going into 24-25. And again, he's been playing the same brand of basketball. If you look at these stats, they're pretty damn good. A multiple-time All-Star, playing all of his seasons out east, excluding those 3 years out west that everyone always forgets when he went and played for San Antonio for a 3-year stint. Again, they weren't the best team in the league. It was a very quiet 3 years for DeMar, but again, he was still doing what DeMar does, averaging 20 to 24 points per game and really just being the leader on the offensive end while still having a bit of veteran leadership. Obviously, he just got finished with his 3-year run in Chicago where, again, he was a great player like we acknowledged in this stat graphic just earlier. 24, 4, and 5 with 1 steal per game with those shooting splits. That is a hell of a player, and again, he can honestly be a first option in a lot of teams in the NBA as well as a second or third option on really any team in the NBA. But again, let's break down the moving parts surrounding him possibly landing in Miami. Now, I will say here's obviously his contract that he just finished. We're in the 24-25 offseason, and again, it's going to be interesting as he is going to be he is an unrestricted free agent, and again, is he going to get this money from Miami or any other team in the NBA right now? 3 years, $81.9 million. That's a contract, obviously, that is just coming to an end with his time in Chicago. Is he going to get that type of money from Miami or any other team? No. Miami can't afford to give him 3 years, $89 million. But again, or really, let's call it $82 million. But again, is he going to get paid wherever he goes? Absolutely. I will say look out for the Los Angeles Lakers, as LeBron James has been on the record saying he wants to take a pay cut to play with a select few players. Obviously, the three names that he mentioned have obviously already signed elsewhere. So it seems like DeMar DeRozan is going to be that last name, possibly on the lookout to possibly land with LeBron James to play in Los Angeles, obviously, as LeBron's career comes to an end and he tries to get to play with some of the players he was hoping to play with throughout his career. But again, the biggest piece of information, the reason I said this move could happen so rapidly is because of this second tweet by NBA Central that came out just a little bit ago saying the Miami have been talking to DeMar DeRozan, something that we already know, but then they go on to say, and expect to receive an update in 24 hours per Flashport Buzz. So again, Does this mean that the Miami Heat have proposed a contract to DeMar DeRozan? Have they pitched out an idea of a number for X amount of years? Possibly. Is this possibly waiting for them to hear back from DeMar DeRozan to hear, yes, I'm game for this idea. Let's put pen to paper. Let's sign something. Or is this just possibly the idea of, hey, would you like to play in Miami? Would you like to be a part of the squad we have currently assembled? Do you think you fit in? Do you think you fit into the culture? Again, a lot of moving parts that we still don't know the answer to, but again, this is huge. This could mean that DeMar DeRozan could be signing a contract with this Miami Heat squad by the end of tomorrow. And again, that would be the biggest splash for this Miami Heat team in the last 2 off seasons, as Pat Riley has, it seems like, is just sitting on his hands in the past 2 off seasons and has not really pulled the trigger on any of these big name moves, as all the teams around us in the East and out West are getting better. Minnesota on draft night went out and traded up for Dillingham. Obviously, Hartenstein just left New York in free agency and went to Oklahoma City. They got better. Obviously, New York just went and got Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. It is a madhouse. Brooklyn just reloaded and repaid everyone. I don't even think they have a cap over in Boston. It is absolutely mayhem. Obviously, not to mention an division rival in Orlando has simply just went out and tried to pick up everyone they possibly can. And not to mention, Paul George, an all-star level player, is now playing for the Philadelphia 76ers. Everyone is getting better around the Miami Heat, excluding Miami. And DeMar DeRozan, I know he may not fit in all that well with this Miami Heat team as currently constructed, but he would boost this Miami Heat team. He's another 20-point per game scorer who can give you 20 in his sleep. He could give you 20 on 5 shot attempts. Again, that's mid-range and layups and then free throws. He's going to shoot 10 free throws a game. He has a similar game to Jimmy Butler in the sense that, again, they rely heavily on the mid-range game, the in-between game, the ability to get to the basket, get fouled, and then make the easy ones at the free throw line. It's just, I don't know how he's going to fit in Miami with the roster currently constructed. Obviously, like I've mentioned, we have Rozier, we have Hero at the 1 and 2, and then Hero is our backup point guard. Josh Richardson obviously has picked up his player option and will return to this Miami Heat team next season. But again, where would DeMar fit in? Is he starting? Is he coming off the bench? Do we have Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier? Either of them, both of them, going into next season? If we do bring in DeMar, there is a lot of questions, at least from my end, if we were to go out and do any type of move with DeMar DeRozan. And again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Again, with this currently constructed roster, do you think he fits in? If we were to bring him in, do you think we'd have to make a move? If not, just let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I do not know how he'd fit in with this currently constructed roster as of today, July 2nd. And again, we have until tomorrow to actually get an actual idea whether or not he's going to sign, whether or not he likes the idea of playing with Miami, or whether or not he's going to LA or anywhere else in the NBA. But again, a very, very interesting time to be a Miami Heat fan. Again, this is from Barry Jackson's article that I mentioned from the first sighting from the NBA Central's first tweet, where he goes on to say the Heat have 11 players under contract, not counting Orlando Robinson, whose $2.2 million salary isn't guaranteed. If Robinson is removed from the equation, the Heat's payroll from a tax/cap calculation standpoint is $180.2 million and counting. Accounting minimum cap holds for 2 open roster spots. The first apron is $178.1 million. So again, not a lot of space to really maneuver for this Miami Heat team. It seems like we're going to have to make a move in order to go out and make a move. Any team making a sign and trade would be hard capped at the first apron and could not exceed $178.1 million in payroll at any time after that until the conclusion of next year's NBA Finals. The second apron is $189.9 million. Teams exceeding that apron cannot agitate salaries in a trade, among other restrictions. The Heat is among many teams determined to avoid the second apron. And then finally, we'll close it out with this. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski said of DeRozan, and I quote, "There's an interest in DeMar DeRozan, but the kind of contract that he might want just is not going to be available. It's not left out there in the marketplace. The Bulls are more than willing to work on a sign and trade agreement to get him the years and money that he might want. With the new salary cap rules, those are much different for teams to do, or much more difficult for teams to do. The Lakers have interest. LeBron James has talked about a willingness to take a significant less money to open up mid-level exceptions." So again, like I mentioned, LeBron James has mentioned taking a salary cut. It seems like it seems like LA is going to be the only place going to be open and willing and able to pay DeMar DeRozan a possible massive contract that he's looking to get. It doesn't seem like Miami's going to be able to do that unless they trade a Terry Rozier, a Tyler Hero, or one of these named players that could really open up some cap room for a DeMar DeRozan in order to allow him to fit into this Miami Heat roster. But again, let me down in the comments what you guys think about these two moving pieces in this article. Again, saying that the Miami Heat have been in talks with DeMar DeRozan, as well as they've obviously been in talks, but they're expected to hear back about an answer in the next 24 hours. Again, I don't know how he's going to fit in on this currently constructed roster, but again, that leaves a lot of room for possible changes on this Miami Heat team if we go out and get a DeMar DeRozan, or at least want to go out and make an effort to get a DeMar DeRozan. But again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this possible move for this Miami Heat team, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Heat Digest.